Prehistoric ancestors had already used mathematics but just only limited to counting and tallying. Some of the very earliest evidence of mankind thinking about numbers is from notch bones in Africa dating back to 35,000 to 20,000 years ago. As early as about 6000 BCE, the early Egyptians settled along the fertile Nile Valley and they began to record the patterns of lunar phases and the seasons, both for agricultural and religious seasons. At that time, the surveyors of a pharaoh used body parts such as palm and cubit to measure land and buildings very early in Egyptian history. A palm was the width of the hand, and a cubit was the measurement from elbow to fingertips. It is thought that the Egyptians introduced the earliest fully developed base 10 numeration system at least as early as 2700 BCE. Written numbers used a stroke for units, a hellbone symbol for tens, a coil of rope for hundreds, and a lotus plant for thousands, as well as other hieroglyphic symbols for higher powers of 10 up to a million. The earliest recorded usage of a circle character as number 0 was in India. The ancient Hindu symbol of a circle with a dot in the middle, known as Bendu or Bendhu, symbolizing the void and the negation of the self, was probably instrumental in the use of a circle as a representation of the concept of zero. The Indian mathematician Brahmagupta established the basic mathematical rules for dealing with zero. 1 plus 0 equals 1, 1 minus 0 equals 1, and 1 times 0 equals 0. The breakthrough which would make sense of the apparently nonsensical operation 1 divided by 0 would also fall to an Indian, the 12th century mathematician Bhaskara II. Most of Greek mathematics was based on geometry. Thales, one of the 7 sages of ancient Greece, is usually considered to have been the first to lay down guidelines for the abstract development of geometry, although what we know of his work now seems quite elementary. Thales established what has become known as Thales' theorem, whereby if a triangle is drawn within a circle with the long side as a diameter of the circle, then the opposite angle will always be a right angle. He is also credited with another theorem, also known as Thales' theorem or the intercept theorem, about the ratios of the line segments that are created if two intersecting lines are intercepted by a pair of parallels. To some extent, however, the legend of the 6th century BCE mathematician Pythagoras of Samos has become synonymous with the birth of Greek mathematics. Indeed, he is believed to have coined both the words philosophy, love of wisdom, and mathematics, that which is learned. Pythagoras was perhaps the first to realize that a complete system of mathematics could be constructed, where geometric elements corresponded with numbers. Pythagoras' theorem is one of the best known of all mathematical theorems. Also, it was the Greeks who first grappled with the idea of infinity, such as described in the well-known paradoxes attributed to the philosopher Zeno of Ilia in the 5th century BCE. The most famous of his paradoxes is that of Achilles and the tortoise, which describes a theoretical race between Achilles and the tortoise. Achilles gives the much slower tortoise a head start, but by the time Achilles reaches the tortoise's starting point, the tortoise has already moved ahead. By the time Achilles reaches that point, the tortoise has moved on again, etc. and etc. So that in principle, the swift Achilles can never catch up with the slow tortoise.